Well, it was an honor, and I didn't have to think very much, because it's not every day that I get the opportunity to take part in a Bulgarian initiative to foment Bulgarian business, the Bulgarian brand, Bulgarian product, especially a product like wine, which is such a reputational product. So for me, it was a great pleasure.
I think quality has to be the overriding objective, producing better and better quality wines, which means being careful with how you harvest fruit, creating fresh wines without too much new wood influence or other winemaking influences, allowing the quality of the fruit to speak for itself. I would also like to see, as I said in my speech earlier, more influence from native varieties. They're what sets Bulgaria apart.
Well, we've just opened a school in Sofia, which is run by 3 qualified educators who have done their own WSET examinations. And our objective with Bulgaria, as in many of the new countries, is to expand the reach of WSET qualifications. Currently we only have 1 provider, but we would look to open more centres to be able to attract people in different sectors of the industry to learn about wines and spirits. So it's expanding the network of providers.
I think Bulgaria still has a challenge in achieving its, the place it should have in terms of the recognition of the brands of Bulgarian products. Clearly, wine is one of the areas where Bulgaria has a natural advantage and a chance to make it. And making it in this industry is a huge opportunity in terms of job creation. It's all the vineyards, it's the people involved, employed, especially in rural areas with few job opportunities. There's also tourism opportunities. The vineyards become, tourism venues, both for domestic, international tourism. So it's a win-win. I mean, there's no question that it's positive for the country. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor for me to be here tonight and to be among the experts in wine. I wish I was one of them, but it's definitely a pleasure to be surrounded by so many. But when Peter asked me to get involved with this event, I thought what a great idea to organize something like this, and I know how difficult it is and what a huge effort it takes to do it.
I would like to invite on stage our next speaker, Ian Harris from the Wine and Spirit Education Trust, to say a few words of their activities.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, we're delighted at the WSET to be supporting this event this evening, and I'm particularly delighted because we've got the opportunity here to explain to you the relevance of the WSET to the wines of Bulgaria. I'm delighted to see that the Bulgarian wine market has evolved and is continuing to evolve, and it is very important that every wine company and every wine region realizes that they're competing in a huge world of wine. And you have to create a point of difference, and you certainly have to make sure that quality is at the top of your list. And that's what these awards are aimed at doing.
Thank you very much, Ian. Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, before I start, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the methodology of this competition. There are wine competitions all around the world. I think what some of them lack is what this one actually possessed, which is objectivity. We set to work actually forming an agreement, an accord over the table. So we tasted 64 wines and we decided wine by wine what we thought of the quality of the wine. And we were hard on them. And that's no bad thing. I think it's important to judge wines in the context of international standards rather than being kind to them. I've found, being an international judge, and Greg as well, that quite often you go to competitions and they're too politically orientated. The one thing we all had in common, as well as being masters of wine, is that we're objective adjudicators. And so we agreed that the wines were of a certain standing in the international context. Having wine awards is not the be-all and end-all of wine production, but it's certainly a means of knowing where you are in the international context of acceptability in wine standards. It's also a way of marketing your wine. That's the more important part. And Bulgaria has a long history of wine production. I think now Bulgaria has a chance to get back on the wine scene, not only in terms of large volume wine production, perhaps with international grape varieties, but also at a higher level with its native grape varieties, which can be very exciting indeed. Now the world is awash with all sorts of international grape varieties, and it's really beholden upon, in my view, people from those countries that have native varieties that the New World doesn't possess, I hasten to add, to make the most of them. Great grape varieties, such as Gamza, such as Mavrud, and to explore those viticulturally and in terms of winemaking to really make the most of them. Perhaps to ameliorate them with international varieties, but ideally to show them off to the best effect as varietal wines. And I would like to invite on stage His Royal Highness Prince Kyril. We're going to form a double act. Asenovgrad Winery, who have received a number of awards. And I want to go through the awards first and then invite you to congratulate them. Who received a commended for their 2013 Mavrud, who received a silver for their Mavrud Reserve, who received a silver for their ornament Mavrud Reserva, and a commended for their Tsar Asen Mavrud 1996. Could I invite Asenovgrad to come on stage, please, and receive the award? Thank you very much, and well done. That's quite long. And now to Black Sea Gold, who received a silver award for their Rose Vera Terra, for their, forgive my pronunciation if I'm mispronouncing the brand, the Arte Ante.
Perfect.
Are commended for that. And for their Salty Hills, they received a silver. If they could come on stage, please, and receive their awards. Well done. And now to Bononia Estate. For their Tramina Ishtar, they received a silver. For the Reserva, commended. If they can come on stage, please, and receive their award. Well done. Congratulations. And now to Domaine Menada. For their Barrique Point Chardonnay, where they receive a commended. How do I pronounce that? Cerca? Cerca 10, the 2015, they received a commended. The Barrique Point Red Cuvée, where they also received a commended. And the Cerca Red, another medal, a commended. My goodness me. The Cerca 10 Red, another vintage, when they received a commended. They can come on stage, please, and receive their award. I'm loving the music, aren't you? Now, to Domaine Boyar, one of the best known names, certainly in this market. Is it Bulgaria?
Bulgaria.
The Bulgaria Chardonnay, where they received a commended. The Corten Rosé, where they received a silver. The Bulgaria Mavrud, where a silver was awarded. The Corten Syrah, where a commended was awarded. The Boutique 2015, where they scored a very good silver. The Bulgarian Melo and Mavrud, where they received a silver. They are receiving lots of awards here. The Corten Natura, a silver. If they could please come on stage and receive their award. Awards. Of course. Please. Come on stage. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done. A lot of awards. Now to Four Friends. What a lovely name. The Citara 2015, where they received commended. The Black Shadow 2015, where they received silver. If they could please come on stage and receive their two awards. Seven Generations. Seven Generations Cuvée 2012, silver. Their Cabernet Sauvignon 2012, a commended. If they could please come on stage and receive their award. Congratulations. now to Terra Tangra, the single barrel 2009, where they received a commended. The Grand Reserve 2013, where they received a commended. If they could please come on stage and receive their 2 awards. And now to Thracian Legends. That's a pretty heroic name for a brand. Makes me think of my own ancestry. Now, the Rosé Cabernet Sauvignon 2015, where a commended was achieved. If they could please come on stage and receive their award. Veliambol and their Kabyle 2015, the first gold of tonight. Can I interject at this moment and say that receiving an award at any international competition is an achievement. Receiving a silver award is really quite something. Receiving a gold award is an incredible achievement and should be a great encouragement not just to the person who won it, but to the entire community of winemakers in Bulgaria, because it shows that Bulgarian wine can achieve the status of any wine in the world, on the world stage. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And can I thank the organisers, particularly Peter and Anelia, for organising this entire competition. To His Royal Highness Prince Kyril for giving away the awards, and to you all for participating in what is such a worthwhile and objective endeavour to improve wine quality and to put Bulgaria back on the map, on the wine map, where it belongs. Thank you. We were all really pleasantly surprised that the base standard was as high as it was. Each of us are fairly seasoned international judges, and we were delighted that the base standard wasn't lower than it was. Often in international competitions, particularly with resurgent wine regions like Bulgaria, you get some real winemaking horror stories. We saw very, very little of that, and actually the basic standard was good. And we were happy that there was a strong silver cadre of silvers and only a small number of golds, because it actually reassured us that we were judging accurately and objectively. In some competitions you get far too many high silvers and golds and double golds. Not so with this competition. We have to remember also that this is the first of its type. It's the first really good, objective Bulgarian wine competition that I know of. May there be many more. This is the beginning.
For me, it was an interesting discovery of Bulgarian wines and grapes and how interesting and good the wines are. Obviously, it was also very exciting to see the attendees of the dinner as well, with His Royal Highness and with professionals from the wine world. So in the overall, a very, very, very pleasant evening. Very happy to be here. So thank you so much for the invitation.